Yeah, excited to be back home for sure, and love playing at home, and I know our kids will be excited. I think UAB was our probably our most complete game that we've played. I thought there were a lot of positives defensively, especially, and um, not many penalties at all on our defense. Only one. Did get one turnover. Should have had three. We had two right in our hands that we didn't make. But just really thought, they gave up a total of 26 yards, I think, in the third quarter. So those three and outs were huge and allowed us to wear them down a little bit on their defensive side. Offensively, we outrushed them. Um, we had 14 explosive plays, which we knew no one had been able to consistently drive the ball on them without having explosive plays. So we worked really hard on that. And I thought we just took control of the game the second half, and obviously disappointing not to get more points in the first half. I had two opportunities in the tight red zone and only got 3 points, and so that was a little disappointing. But we didn't protect great at times, and Malik was just able to make plays with his feet. We've got to continue to work on our protection. But I'll tell you, those two defensive ends they could play in any Power Five conference. They were 16 and 44 were a handful. They were really, really talented, and so I thought our special teams played well, except for our PAT field goal unit, which we still are not where we need to be. We've got work to do, and we got to go to work and get that team better. It's going to cost us, but man, I thought it was a great bounce back week. It said a lot about our kids and our staff to go play a very talented UAB team on the road in their opening of their new stadium, and really well coached by Coach Clark and his staff. And so I think it says a lot about just about our kids, really, that of how we bounced back from a difficult loss at Syracuse the prior week. So that's the truth of it, and we're thrilled to be 4-1, one step closer to bowl eligibility, and now we got to face another tough opponent in Middle Tennessee.
All right, thank you, Coach. We'll take questions at this time. Start with John from a Sea of Red.
Coach, you mentioned the kicking game. What was your assessment of Beck so far from first game and those two kicks in the fourth quarter that were missed? Looked like one was a snap or hold issue. What were the issues on those two from the film?
Yeah, obviously he made the first field goal, which was good. Made all the extra points that he up until those last two. The next to last one, the snap was iffy, but should have been handled. We've got a new holder, with Aiden being out. I think it could have been handled. And the last one, the kick's just it's head high. It's really, really low, and so we've got to. There was a little leakage, but nothing that should have blocked a kick that has the correct trajectory. So we've got to continue to work and keep challenging those kids to get better.
Let's go to Damien from the News in Advance.
Hugh, looking ahead to Middle Tennessee, they impressive win over Marshall, and in that one they forced 6 turnovers. And Malik has talked about decision making. You've preached about taking care of the ball. You've only lost 2 turnovers on offense this year, and how critical will that be, especially looking ahead to the forecast and potential of rain on Saturday?
Yeah, the ball is always the most important thing to us offensively, and we have to take care of the ball. And if you lose the turnover battle, your chances of losing the percentages go way up. And we've taken care of it pretty decently here, and we'll continue to preach that for sure. But I think Middle is playing with an enormous amount of confidence right now. They've got a veteran staff. Coach Stock I've known him for a long time, have great respect for him, and he's got a veteran staff, and they're just playing with a lot of confidence. I haven't watched. The only thing I've watched thus far is their defense, and man, 0 and 91 are a handful, and their linebackers play downhill and force the issue a lot on you, and that's just in the small amount that I've watched. But I know that, and I know the quarterback from talking to Scott is running around and throwing, so he's a dual threat guy. And they're impressed with their running backs also and receivers. So we've, it's another difficult task. They're coming off a big win at Marshall, and that was, Marshall I know has got a really good football team. So we've got another tough assignment, and it'll be one that I'm sure hopefully we'll prepare for like we did last week. I thought it was our best week of preparation, and hopefully that's something our kids can learn from is, you do play a lot better when you prepare better. So,
Coach, how has Kenny Charles responded to treatment since Saturday?
we only had treatment yesterday afternoon and this morning, but he's a long way away from being ready to play.
Let's go to John.
And last week we talked a lot about, bouncing back from a tough loss, and you've kind of mentioned it a little bit, but how pleased were you that the guys' resolve and, even face some adversity there in the first half against UAB Saturday night?
Yeah, I was thrilled. I loved their look at halftime. I was obviously wasn't real happy at halftime, not necessarily with our kids, but just I was just frustrated, and I loved the way they looked and their response to me at halftime, and I just I have full confidence in that our kids are going to play 60 minutes, and we don't necessarily always play perfect. I don't know of any team that does, but our kids are going to play, and that's what they did Saturday night.
Damien.
You mentioned Saturday night how thin you are on the defensive line. You said Kendi's a long way away from playing. You hope to get Henry and Zachary back this week?
That'd be nice. It's too early to tell. I'm hopeful for both of them, for sure. Rashad, I'm just, we're hopeful. But I don't know the answer to that right now, but we are. That's we're pretty, felt like we were pretty deep there. And now all of a sudden you're playing a bunch of freshmen. I will say this now, Chris Body played. He played really well for a freshman. And so that was great to see. But, Ralph and Elijah had to play way too many snaps for what we're used to. So hopefully we can get a few of those guys back.
John.
We've talked a lot back in the summer about outside receiver, and it seems like C.J. Daniels has really come on and providing that threat that maybe Malik needs on the outside and maybe in the red zone going forward. You looking for him to continue to develop and be that guy that maybe you can have in those situations?
I tell you, it was our receivers' best game. They, I thought they competed for the ball. I thought they ran against difficult press coverage, solid routes with good technique. I thought they finished plays well, and I thought they're transitioning from being a receiver to being a blocker for a Malik scramble or for another receiver that has broke a tackle. I thought it was excellent. I thought our scramble drills were good, where they work to get open when Malik is scrambling. And so I know we got called for, those holdings that really hurt us on those drives in the first half. But, man, I tell you, I just the effort they're giving to try to make blocks that create explosive runs for us, I wouldn't change a thing. Need to change our hand placement a little bit for one of those that got called on Noah. The other one was CJ. I thought it was a great block, and his hands were right on his shoulder pad, and I thought he had great effort and technique. So I thought it was our receivers' not just CJ's, but everybody's best game. But it's definitely good to see CJ coming on.
Damian?
You mentioned a couple of interceptions you should have had. I think Javon Scruggs beat himself up pretty good on the one that he dropped. But how would you assess his play through 5 games this season?
He's our leader defensively, and so you expect a lot out of him. So the standard's high. I think he's played solid. I think he can play a little better, but he's been really, really solid. The one thing that stands out is he normally doesn't miss tackles. In the last 2 games, he's missed a few tackles, but other than that, he's going to grade high because he knows what to do and he knows where to be, and he's going to play with great effort. So I think it's not just him. We didn't. If there's a negative defensively the other night, is we didn't tackle extremely well. I mean, there were some plays that should have been 2nd and 13, and they're 2nd and 8. Now, some of that is we face some good backs too, but hopefully we can tackle a little better. But Javon's the leader and is going to do everything the right way for us.
How valuable has Story Jackson been after losing Anthony Butler last year and, not knowing, I guess, maybe who was going to emerge as the leader of that group, and guys just come in and led your team in tackling and doing it too after playing FCS football in the spring and still able to come back and take that punishment from his body and have this kind of production here in the fall?
Story is we're so glad we have him, and he's so athletic and physical and brings a different type player to us than we've had here in the first 2 years. He's just really dynamic and physical. I think he's got to just continue to. Last week he prepared better, and it showed on the game. And while he played and flashed at times against Syracuse, he also was out of position about 12 times that cost us. And so all of this transitioning into this new system, I think he's only going to get better and better and better. And he played really solid, but he prepared better last week and came in on his own and really watched how he's supposed to fit runs. And so I think he's only going to get better and better as we move forward.
Damian?
You mentioned about how well Chris Body played on Saturday night, and I think he's up to 3 games now, and I know you've mentioned you want to try to preserve the red shirt for a lot of these guys so that way you have them for an additional year. Are we at the point now with injuries where you're like, man, I want to save it, but we got to get him on the field if he's producing?
Yeah, you're not going to hurt the team by just saying we're going to redshirt a kid. So I tell all these kids all the time at the beginning of the year, don't ask me. I can't tell you. I have no idea who we're redshirting. Would I love to redshirt a lot of kids and have 23-year-old seniors in a few years? Yes. But that's not always realistic. And so, we'll see what happens after he plays in his 4th game and where we are. But if we need him for our team this year, that's the priority, is the team.
Coach, you faced Coach Stock a couple times when you were at Arkansas State as an OC and then as a head coach. Just memories of those games and what his teams bring to the table from a offensive and defensive standpoint.
Well, they've changed some, with his hiring of different coordinators throughout the years. But one thing that's consistent with Rick's teams, I mean, the guy's just he's a tough, hard-nosed football coach, and they're going to play that way. And you're well coached, and they're going to play the game the right way. And you're going to have to out-execute and have better effort in order to beat his teams on given days. And he's just a heck of a coach. My memories of playing when we were at Arkansas State, I remember vividly the year I was the head coach playing at their place and winning that game because there was a bowl rep there, and he came in the locker room after to give us our invitation to a bowl, which was big for Arkansas State at that point in their and their growth into FBS football. So I remember that vividly. That was a very exciting day. But Rick's a heck of a coach, heck of a guy. So he'll have his kids ready.
Take a couple more, Damien.
Hugh, last year you didn't get the traditional homecoming game because of COVID. What do with all the hoopla and everything, and how do you normally handle homecoming games since you'll have hopefully a full crowd and a lot of the hoopla and festivities beforehand?
I don't know if I'm supposed to. I don't do any homecoming festivities. I don't know any. I don't even know what they do. I never have. Maybe I'm bad. I don't know. Maybe I should be out doing the festivals and things. But I don't need, and our kids won't be doing whatever it is either. So I hope it's a packed stadium though, and I think homecomings are great. I'm not against homecomings. I think everybody ought to come back that's ever graduated from Liberty, and they all ought to be here or on the hill somewhere on Saturday, and there ought to be all 100,000 of them out there. I'm all for that. But you won't find me doing any festivities. I can't. I can't do both. But I hope they have some. And man, I hope y'all go, and I hope it's a packed place, and it's super loud, and we have a 12th man advantage there when it comes to us playing a home game. I do look forward to seeing, hopefully, I'm sure it's some people's one time to come back because they just can't make it happen traveling wise. So I feel a little sense of, hopefully we'll give them a product that they're proud to see.